You remember back when you took the ACT, or if you're about to take the ACT, hours and hours, perhaps days and days, maybe even weeks of preparation ready for that one great event. Jesus spent over 3 years, hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months of preparation with his disciples for the great mission that he would give them of helping establish the church that we read about in Acts chapter 2. Now, he also is preparing them in his final hours on earth for his departure. He's been with them all this time, but now he's leaving them. And he's dropped a lot of subtle hints, I guess you might say, that that's going to happen, but he's trying to be very specific with them. In John chapter 16, verse 25, once again, he tries to get that across to them. He says there in John 16:25, "These things I have spoken to you in figurative language," or symbolically. One translation says in parables. In other words, in such a way that maybe you could begin to grasp the meaning, but eventually you will. "I've spoken these things to you that way, but the time is coming," and that's the reference that he's trying to get across to them, "when I will no longer speak to you in figurative language or symbolically, but I will tell you plainly about the Father. In that day you will ask in my name, and I do not say that I will pray to the Father for you, for the Father himself loves you, because you have loved me and have believed that I came from God. I come forth from the Father and have come into the world. Again, I leave the world and go to the Father." Jesus is reminding them, and he's trying to be just as clear as he can about it. I'm leaving you. I'm going back to the Father, but I'm not leaving you without any resources. Jesus had prayed for his disciples while he was on earth. Many times you read in his ministry that he prayed very specifically for his disciples. In fact, in the next chapter, John 17, he will do it again. But now Jesus will leave them, and he will leave them with a resource that they can communicate through him to the Father who loves them, the Father who loves them because they believe that he is indeed the Son of the Father. And Jesus says, once I return to heaven, I'm going to leave you this resource. That day is coming, that time is coming, and it's very soon. In fact, it's just a few hours away, and really a few days away, when all of this would happen and Jesus would ascend back into heaven. But they would be left with the avenue and the blessing of prayer. And they could pray to the Father through Jesus. And that relationship would continue. And that relationship would grow and build. And when you read the New Testament book of Acts, you see over and over and over Christians and congregations and gatherings of God's people praying and praying through Jesus to the Father. The same blessing that you and I have today, to pray to the Father through Jesus.